Hello, now let's go for the third part of the videos that demonstrate the third part of the project. So if you remember what we have done so far. So first we started by defining the front end for the course execution. Um, to create a course execution and list the course execution. Basically, we just have done is this thing about the top bar, the router. So all the changes we had to do such that you locate your new page in the middle of all the other pages, okay? And the new page, actually, if you remember, is this page, okay? So it's a bit different now, but I will explain why. And then in the second, and then what we have done is that we basically just list the courses executions, right? In this case, I have a single one there listed. So what I'm going to show you now is the ability to create course executions, okay? And I've done something more. Why? Because actually it's the right moment to do it. I just create a new functionality that allows me to delete the course execution. So to do that, actually what I've done, I came back to the quiz tutor administration for the Kanban for the functionalities, for the functionality administration. And in our feature selection, I had a new story called delete the course execution. Okay, and the only thing basic I've defined, the restriction I've defined is that, well, to delete a course execution is necessary that it has no quizzes, neither assessments nor assessments. Okay, so I'm gonna check this. So I picked this feature story and I just copied to our sprint, okay, which is the front end sprint. And in the front end sprint, I have this story now, delete a course execution, okay. And what is different now is that I'm becoming more pro, okay, more or less, on this. And instead of now, I want to implement this new story that is delete the course execution. And instead of dividing this into tasks about implementing the service, testing, and so on, I've defined a single task that is delete the course execution. Why? Because actually I can do it in 1 or 2 hours. 1 hour and a half, maybe. And so it's enough to do it in a task. Remember that first, the create the new course execution is just now the web page task, because I have been did this on the previous sprints. But now I can do it in a single task. So I wrote there what I need to do. I need to do the domain, the service, test, web service, and the front end. I will explain that to you. Actually, this probably is the approach that you need to follow for the first part of the project, where you already manage the technology and you can implement each history or each story in less than a couple of hours. Okay? So, what I've done, what I'm going to show you, I'm going to start to show you how we have implemented the new course execution, the web page, and then the delete one. Okay? How are these functionalities? So before we go there, I'm going to show you how are these functionalities already implemented. So if I log out there, if I log in as an administrator, and I came here, okay. So what is the functionality of create a new course? Basically, I have this button there, and I open this dialog box. And in dialog box, it allows me to create external courses and external course executions, and I'm going to write the name there. Since I'm a demo administrator, I can only create demo courses, okay? So demo course. And then it's irrelevant what I have here now. So BBB, and I save it, okay? And look, I just create an external course execution. Right, and I've done another functionality that is nice, is that, hey, if I want to use an acronym that a course that already exists in technical, for instance, and create an external course execution for a course, a technical course. I could just write it there, look, but I'm forbidding to do it here so that I actually can reuse the name and there are no errors. So what I've done actually is just say, hey, let's do it here. So I want to create a course execution for this course. I have this here, and look, what is the difference? The name is already there, it's technical, but now it's external, okay? And I can create a new one, okay? And that's it, and you have it there, okay? It's there. And of course, then the other functionality, pretty simple here in the interface, I just delete it. Okay, good. So what I'm gonna show you, first how to do this in the page here, and then I'm gonna show you the implementation of the delete course execution, okay? So let's go for it. So for the delete of the course execution, let's go to WebStorm, and you remember that we have this courses view from the previous video where actually we describe this. So you have this table, you will reuse the Viewtify table, right? So I have this table, and what we had added is basically this button and this column here, okay? So the button, it's here. So you have the search field and the button there, new course, look, new course. It's the search and the button there. And then I have these actions here, and these actions, they are here, okay? This template, and we have basically two buttons there with particular icons, and that's and are these icons there, okay? Now, how do I react when I just click there? I can define an event. Pretty simple. So what I have is, let's for the new course. On click on this button, I invoke this method here, okay? On click on this button, I invoke the create from course method, and that I have a this. So this is the new course, no arguments, but in this case I create from this course. I want to reuse part of the information, and I can use this variable item that comes from the data table. So I can access in each line I have a different item, which actually is a different course, okay? And the same for the delete course. I have here and I receive the item. Where are these methods implemented? Well, in the controllers. So what do I have? In a new course, I just do this. In the create from course, I do that. And in the delete course, I do that. Okay? I will address first the new course and the create from course. As you see, I'm doing almost nothing there. Actually, I'm doing, when I click there, is open a dialog box. So, what is dialog box? Actually, it's going to be another component that is inside this one and that I can open, okay? And what I'm going to say that it should open. I declare, from the previous video, I declare here two new variables. Current course, that is a course, and edit course dialog, that is a boolean, okay? And actually what I'm going to do when I just click there is to set these variables with the information that I want to send inside this component, this view component, okay? So what I'm doing is with this new course, basically I just create an empty course object, okay? And if I create from course, I just reuse the information. Look, I use the argument I reuse the information of the old course, and I change some of this information. So I want to ask to have a new acronym, a new academic term, the course execution ID as well, and I want to say that's going to be external, okay, always, right? In this case, if you go inside course, you will see that the empty constructor for course actually says that should be external course and external execution course. So I just set the values and send the values to the dialog. Good? So that's the point. I just define my context to send a dialog. So how do I send edit course dialog variable value and current course inside the component? Well, we have a previous question. Where is the component? So the component, it's here. So in the view, okay, I have this edit course component. And this edit course component actually receives my values, which is edit course dialog as a V model and current course as a parameter of the component. Another thing that I'm doing is that I only show this dialog if the edit course boolean is true. Oh, sorry, if I have a current course, okay? Which is similar to being true because I just set the value, okay? And I have two other things that is relevant here is that when you work with components, the best way to work is that you send properties, so you send values like current course inside the component, and when the component wants to tell you something, send you an event. Then you change the context, and if you change some of the context, the component reacts to your change of the context. So basically we have a tree of components where parent components set values that may ask child components to react, and child components send events to parent components that actually then do something. And what are the events that actually the dialog is send the thing to this component? There are two events that I declare here. One is on create course and another is on close dialog, which actually is occur when I click on these buttons, as I will show you, okay? So the buttons are here, maybe hidden by myself. Okay, good. So let's see what happens when I do on create course. So on create course, again, is going to be a method on my side. And on create course, I'm going to receive from the dialog the new course. Sorry, it's not this one. On create course, I'm going to receive from the dialog the new course, and I'm just go to my list of courses and put it at the beginning. Well, look, it's at the beginning that I put it. It's just some usability thing. I prefer the begin so that you notice that there's a new one. So if I create a new year, okay, let's see. Oh, not this. This is not going to work because I can only create demo courses. Demo course DDD. So it's the DDD, right? And DD is at the beginning here. So the way it works, so you receive these and basically it redraws, okay? It redraws, these redraws when you change this list, okay? So that's actually what I've done here. You change this list and it redraws. But now you don't need the dialog anymore. So you say that edit course dialog false and current course null, which means that what is going to happen? This dialog is going to disappear. Actually, it disappeared there. Okay, and the same is going to happen when you just close. So Windows and close, basically you don't change anything. So you don't do this. So you just edit the course dialog and the current course. Good. So I think it's enough here. So let's now look inside. And to look inside, what you need to go, you need to edit course dialog. Look, edit the notation, edit course dialog, and then you have edit course dialog there. And where do I map that this component has other components? Here in component, I say the list of components, and I map my name as a view object into the tag name. Okay? So I describe each component I have. So what is inside this course dialog? So the first thing, so it's a view component. And the first thing is that you describe, there are two types of variables here, a prop and a model. A model is a particular type of variable that actually you can change in both directions. So basically you can change in the parent and you can change in the child, and the child sends and the parent receives. You should usually, scarcely, I would say, and we are using it most of the times because Utify uses for some type of component. So in this case is the dialog, look, is dialog, and basically is going to receive these, is going to receive our boolean there. Do you see vmodel there? So it's going to receive our boolean. And this course, current course, do you see course there? Okay, so if you see course there, you will see course here. Okay, it's read-only in the sense that I will not allow it to change. It's our decision. Even if I can change it, the parent will not notice it because it's a prop. Okay, it's not a vmodel like this one. And actually what I'm going to do is when this component is created, I'm going to clone the course I received so that I manipulate it here. Okay, and I'm going to also say whether this is I need to create a course or not. Okay, the reason because I'm doing this is basically in the dialog box if this appears. Look, so in this case I write this name here. Okay, in this case I don't need to write it. I'm gonna just, the course already exists. So there are the two situations where I'm doing this. So I will not spend more time with this variable. This is the small kind of logic things that are there that you need to take in account, but it's just a decision of how the UI is going to work. More interesting is to look at this edit course. Okay. So what is my dialog actually? So it's not difficult. So this V dialog is a Vuetify dialog, so please read about Vuetify dialog, okay? And what I'm gonna say is that it's gonna, so what is gonna receive? Is gonna receive this value, actually, so this is my dialog variable, look, it's here, that I receive from the parent, and I'm sending it inside the dialog. Okay, so that's why I'm using the vmodel, because basically it's going to be used here. Okay, so I'm sending inside the dialog for a variable that is there called value. Good. Okay, and then I'm going to saying two things. If I have an input or a key down ask, I just send close dialog. Look, is the close dialog. You say, do you know why this is here? Oh, it's just because it's nicer. Look, when I'm here, when I click there, I send the event close dialog. But actually, if you cannot see it now, escape, I do it. And if I click outside, I do it as well. Okay? So I'm sending these events. Okay? So I'm making these events on the other side. So if you remember, on this side, you have on close dialog, execute our close dialog that basically close it, okay, as you have seen, okay. So then you have this part, new course, look, new course, and then you have these elements in the dialog. So you have these elements to receive the information, and what I'm doing here is that I'm using the information in the edit course, which is our new variable, and I'm changing it. So while I'm using this, I'm changing this variable. Okay? So if I change this variable, means that just to show you, when you save, okay, when you basically save course, what is save course? It's the same idea. Look, now I have these two buttons here. One button is the cancel button and another is the save button. So they are cancel and save. Cancel is, on the cancel is the same, you send this event, but on save, you don't send the event right away. You do some processing on the dialog side. So you execute the save course. Okay? And what does save course? Save course just checks here if you have information there. Okay? So then it sends an error, something like if I try to do it like this. Okay? Course must have name, acronym, and academic term. Okay? Which is this part here. Okay? And on the other situation, what I'm going to do is I'm going to invoke the remote services and I'm going to do a create course. So create course, now as you may expect it from other videos, I'm going to invoke the server and I'm going invoking the create course execution web service we have been implementing. And this is going to return a fresh create course, and I'm going to just create an object here and return it as a promise. What is I'm going to do with this promise? Basically, well, I receive here, and I'm going to send it with the event. And that's it. I send it with the event, and I'm going to receive it here. As I told you already. So this finishes this part, and now the last one, very quickly to see how we implemented the delete. So in this case, the delete, I'm not doing the delete here, right? I'm not doing it there. So where am I doing the delete? Basically, I'm doing the delete here. So as you have seen, I have this delete button. Okay, I have these there. Okay, and when I click there, I just execute this method. And what I'm doing? Well, the same. Basically, I just invoke a new web service that I've implemented. I will show you quickly this web service. It's not that difficult. And if everything is okay, so if there's no error, if there's an error, I will send a message. What I'm going to do, I go to my list of courses and I filter to remove the course I've just deleted. That's what I told you, that you can use streams here. Actually, it's not a map, but you can use maps, streams, and filters, whatever. So the syntax is a bit different from Java, but look, is like this. This represents the lambda extraction, but it's pretty similar. Okay, good. So what we need, what is left to see? What is this guy, right? So this guy invokes what? A delete web service there, and where I send. Where is this web service? Well, in the administration controller. In the administration controller, this guy is tired because there's no memory. Not enough memory, but it will survive. So remove course execution, and I have this. Look, the access control is similar. Hey, I need to change a little bit the access control here because look, now I'm receiving a execution course ID. In this case, where I was creating a course DTO, I have this, right? So now I need to change it to deal with execution course ID as well. So if you go to, I think, config, tutor permission, actually I just added this line. Oh, this is the previous one, right? No, yeah, I just added this line here. Because I'm receiving now an integer, right? And so I do something similar. The previous one was there when I receive a course DTO. Okay, so I had to do this. Nothing special now that you are a pro on this, and I just do remove course execution here. Okay, and my remove course execution service is, well, I have this long thing here. Maybe I can make it more nicer to read, like this. Yes. I just get the course execution, and then I invoke a remove, a delete of the course execution, and at the end I just delete it from the repository, this course execution. What I need to do there? Well, before I do this, it's relevant that I just disconnect it from the other guys, right? So that's what I'm doing. So what I'm doing here is, I do two things actually. The first, I check that I can really do it. So I'd see if there are no quizzes and no assessments. And if that's the case, I go to the course and says, hey, course, remove me from your course execution. And I go to the users, and for each user that is actually either a student or a teacher of this course execution, I say, hey, remove me. I'm gonna disappear. Okay? And it is pretty much this. I hope that you enjoy, and good work.